Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I was out at the weekend with the wife and we were out in some nice woodland, go out every Sunday and have a coffee, something like that. And we were out walking through the woods and just all of a sudden I was just looking around, looking at the trees, looking at everything that's there. And I thought, how cool would it be to make a selfie stick from a stick? So I searched around, and to be honest with you, all the sticks that are just laying on the ground were all a bit rotten. And I didn't really want to cut one off the tree. But I have a lilac tree in my front garden, desperately in need of pruning. Me cutting a branch off it, not a problem, so that's what I did. And I've got this lovely stick from said lilac tree. Quite a cool stick, got a nice bend in it. Most men can appreciate a stick, we just love sticks. And that's a nice stick. So, I've drilled a 5.5mm hole in the end. Now, I also have a cold shoe for my camera, Osmo Action 4. I don't like the amount that comes with the camera, and this one has got the standard 1/4" thread in it, so I can use it on an existing tripod. Okay, and I also bought some 1.5" threaded rods, which are 1/4" 20 thread. So I've got another one of these threaded rods here, and we've got piece of electrical tape on it to give me an idea of how much I want to wind into the stick, and we're going to use this one as a tap to tap a thread. So I've already started this one off, so we'll just wind that in a bit, but this cut very easily, and I just basically used a pair of grips on the tape and just cut that in. But as I said, I've already cut this thread, so it goes in very easily. Now the grips probably wrecked that top bit of thread, but I'm just going to use this piece as a tap because I've got another idea about my dashboard, so that I can put a view for the driving. And now that one will thread in there nice and easily. When it's in there, it's very robust, very secure, and I figure the wood will shrink if anything, so it just tighten up. But I'm a belt and braces kind of guy, so I want to do something else, and I'll just go and get what I need. And it's this stuff, which is, this one's made by Evo Sticks, polyurethane glue, and that's expanding. You can get it in a runny in a bottle, but this stuff in a tube is much gloopier, and I prefer it. Now thankfully for me, I didn't have to buy this because I use it at work, so need to be a bit careful here because this stuff can be a bit crazy sometimes. Right, now all we're going to do is just put a little bit of that on the thread. Not a lot. That will probably do me. In fact, that is probably a little bit too much, if I'm honest. But we can trim that off once it's dried. No problem at all. What I think what I'll do is I'll just remove a little bit of the excess with this pencil. Plonk it somewhere out of the way so it don't make a mess of everywhere. Over there. Right. And now we'll wind this in to the stick. Now I've wound this in and out a couple of times already with the grips, and as you can see now it just follows that thread nicely. That's it, it's at the bottom of the thread. Now that glue will expand into that thread, and the catalyst for this glue is moisture. So because this timber is damp, just been cut off the tree, that's nice and moist, that stuff will set in 15 or 20 minutes. So we'll come back in that time. Okay. So that is now stuck, and that is in there very solid. That expanding glue will expand it out around the thread, oozed out the top, and I've now trimmed that back. Now one of the problems I've noticed with stick, it's got a slight curve on it, and I would want to use it in that orientation. And when I screw this, I want this to face with the writing on the front, and I want it to face like that. Now when this is tightened hard on here, it faces round something like that. So I needed to come up with a solution. Now I've got these little 6mm thread, not a 1/4 inch thread, sorry, knurled insert nuts. Only cheap off Amazon, cost me £4 for a pack of 20, so 20p for the nut. And I've cut a disc of oak with a hole saw, opened up the hole in the middle, and that will now take that insert nut nice and tightly, and we'll also use a bit of expanding glue on the insert nut as we push it in, and that will just take up any slack at all on the teeth and bond that nut to that piece of wood quite nicely. And then you end up with something like this, with the nut set inside it. So we'll just put that on there like that, screw that all the way down, pop the cold shoe on top, and this is what I mean by that's where it naturally tightens, but that's where I want to actually tighten it. And then tighten up your nut underneath it like so, and there we have a nice robust mount. So let's see what it works like with the camera on it. So here we have it. Seems to work quite well, holding it sort of about halfway, very nicely balanced, just wandering down into my garden here. And I'm just so passionate about making things. I just absolutely adore making things, you know. And to make a selfie stick, and this cost me a total of, well, less than 75p. Just walking into my piano studio, a little bit dark. You can probably see the piano there. There we go, that's another of my passions. And yeah, I can lift it up obviously. I can give you a quick glimpse of my DIY roof rack and my solar setup I've got up there. I can drop it down low and things like that, turn it round the other way. All in all, I think it's an absolute winner. 75p for a selfie stick, made myself. Yeah, it doesn't turn into a mini tripod or anything like that, but you know, I'll work on that. I'll make a mini tripod. And maybe, well, in fact, no doubt, we'll make a video of that as well. The mini tripod video at some point in the future. Well guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you find it somehow useful. Just get your hands, make things out of anything. Doesn't matter what you're making. If it works, it's a winner. Okay guys, see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.